It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. It is that time again this weekend, time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll talk to Blake coming up in just a second. First of all, let me give you some contact information because over the next 30 minutes, you're going to hear so much great stuff and you're going to want to get more about what you hear. Easy way to do that, call Blake at his office at Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or you can also go online to blakesloan.com. BlakeSloan.com. Get all that same info. If you didn't get it this time, we'll repeat that contact information several times in the next 30 minutes. But let's get the show started. Here's Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Got an awesome show. First show of the year. So a lot of great stuff packed in. Really kind of just really do a review of last year, kind of recap what happened last month's numbers and look at the overall 12-month rolling average compared to the previous 12 months, how we stacked up there. And the numbers look really good, actually really good. So we'll talk about what those are, how we stacked up. We had double-digit growth last month in terms of sales, which is awesome. So I'll look at that, obviously going back. Also, we're going to look at the top 4 renovations if you're planning to sell your home this year in 2020, from some national studies, some data, basically what gets the highest ROI. And we'll also talk about, too, national year-over-year rental rates being on the rise. So obviously it's great for our investor clients out there, investors out there. Not great if you're still renting, but we'll talk about what those numbers are, what they look like, and that's something that's kind of very interesting. And then also on the list, we have time, the 2020 real estate predictions that may surprise you. And there's a lot of economists and people in the business, what they're kind of saying to look out for this year, because everyone's kind of wanting to know that question, what's going on, what's happening. So we'll dig in so everyone has an advantage there and kind of know. I've been scouring through just the internet and data and different groups I'm in to kind of say what's going to happen to give us and you the advantage this year. So we'll have that. So amazing success stories. Super proud of that. Our team continued kicking butt all the way to the end, had a record year, so we'll talk about that as well.
A lot of great stuff to look back for in 2019 and look ahead to in 2020. Now, if you're first time that you're listening and you don't know who Blake Sloan is, you're just tuning in. Well, he's been called a real estate whiz kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, other national publications. Also, you may be seeing him on TV with NBC and with Watson Friends, the morning show. Personal endorsements you've heard on this very radio station from Sean Hannity, from Glenn Beck, Gary LaVox, Barbara Corcoran, and others. Put them all together, it is unprecedented in the world of real estate, especially in the Myrtle Beach area. Now, every week, Blake tells us a little bit about his trademark systems for help buyers and sellers. Can't give you all that information because, well, it's trademark. But if you get involved with Blake, he will tell you all the details on how he's going to be able to help you out. But there is one thing that he can spill. He can spill one of those little secrets each and every time to let you know the most important part of the system.
Yes, and this again is like my calling. This is kind of why we do the show, why we go through all the time to put these things together and to share and just kind of do it, because it comes down to all the horror stories you see every single day in this business, not just here locally, but all over the country. Some friends and people I know and different mastermind groups experience the same thing, right? And the thing is, single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only. That thing is the agent you choose, period, right? That's all that matters, because comes down to how the process gets executed. So in selling a home, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one turned out correctly, guess what? Puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything handled incorrectly, aka the ball gets dropped, that costs you hard-earned money, your hard-earned equity, or the property does not get sold, which usually one or two or sometimes both of those is what happens. And so what we did, what makes us different, that could be anything really quick, from the person not marketing it right, the photos not looking good. We had an example a few weeks ago where the people had the first 7 or 8 photos were the outside of the siding of the house, right? Those are minor details that cost you traffic, cost you conversion, and ultimately the sale. And so what we did and what makes things different, it could also be the agent not answering the telephone, which you see that happen a lot of times, right? For a buyer inquires in your property, guess what? Agent doesn't answer the phone, which happens like 7 times in the business. It's crazy. And so the reality is there has to have these systems and processes have to be managed properly. So what we did is we identified every single one, reverse engineer to create maximum leverage at every single point for our clients. So we call that stacking the dominoes. And so we have a system and process in place at every single variable that's basically defined up front to make sure that we control that to give our client that advantage in that process. You stack all those up, creates a massive gap, right? And so when we look at that, it's just like a marathon. Everyone takes off at the same time, but you see some finish 2 and 3 hours ahead of time through small incremental changes or pushes there. And that's what we do in that process, called the guaranteed sold system. Only system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very And so on the flip side of that, guess what? 100 plus variables on the buyer side. If each one's handled correctly, puts money in your pocket, or you save money, or you get the home that you want. Incorrectly, it costs you money. And so with that, that's called the unfair advantage home buying system. Same thing there. Both of those designed to give our client the ultimate competitive advantage. Like Dave said, if you want to know more, reach out to us. Anytime anyone sees this, absolutely blows their mind. But I designed it. We licensed other agents across the country, but it works very, very well, and it works very, very well here where we designed it. But don't make the mistake of just going any old agent who just does the three P's, right? They promise the world get listing, two, they put it to MLS, and three, they price one brings a buyer. Meanwhile, they spend all their time going down the street, hunting down the next listing. Why is that? Because that's just how the industry's worked to survive, right? There's not enough time in the day for someone to handle 118 different variables on 10 plus listings or 50 listings or whatever it is, because they're trying to hunt down the next deal. And so with the staff and the systems and technology we designed allow us to manage those so we can proactively manage them at the same time as servicing you and get you the service that you need. So reach out, one more, 843-808-SOLD for sure.
All right, that is a smart thing to do. Now, coming up in just a minute, show continues as we're going to be looking at some big stuff, including real estate market numbers. We'll find out what's happening around the area and some of the most important numbers you're going to be hearing all weekend. That includes the interest rates, what the mortgage rates are looking like. We've got other great stuff to get to on the first show of 2020. And that's all going to be coming up here. Remember, get in touch with Blake Sloan today by calling him at his office at Sloan Realty Group at 843-08-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online at blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com.
Hey, if you were in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Kennedy here with some important advice. Now, look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of properties in hot, cold, moderate markets. And one of the lessons I have learned is this. Hire the agent that knows how to create the most demand for your home. Now, if I needed to create demand in this market, no question, there's only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, he services the entire Myrtle Beach area, attracts hundreds of buyers every week, and sells a home on average every 24 hours. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible. Well, it's like getting an immediate offer on your home, because if your home doesn't sell for the price and the deadline you agree to, you will have it bought for cash, and he offers flexible fees. Find out how much demand your home can command right now. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
The Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. You heard the phone numbers to get in touch with, so use them. 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. Coming up in just a minute, we'll see what the mortgage rates are looking like. Any news? I know it's early in the month, but you got any kind of updates on what the market's looking like?
Yes, actually we do. It's crazy kind of looking at the numbers. So check this out. December, obviously last month's numbers. So obviously we finished strong or not is what you want to know, right? Last month, single family home sales, and already with just the data in being the very few days of the month, up 22.1% last month in home sales, resale home sales, which is obviously what drives the marketplace. That's what most of the sales are homes that you and I live in, or selling to another owner occupant versus new construction, right? So up 22.1%. So you look at comparison of this year versus last year, kind of overall. So December of 2018, there were 393 home sales, right? December of 2019, 480. So, I mean, it's a significant difference, right? Almost 25% increase in the amount of homes sold, which is amazing. So, that's huge, huge news overall. If you look at, sales price last month, it was up 3.8%, 233,500 is the median price right now. Supply down to, once again, another record of what we've seen. The lowest I've ever seen it. It's at 4.2 months inventory right now. And so, obviously, we had a record last month of low inventory. Then you have a record amount of sales on top of that. Guess what? When we're driving that inventory down, we're going to see future price continue to go up. And so that's just something to kind of look at. If you look at like a comparison, if you go all the way back to like March of 2016, there's 7.4 months inventory. Right now we're on the 4.2, so almost in half, right? And so less out there, which is what you're seeing kind of a struggle across the country in the previous 12 months. We're finally catching up there a little bit. But at the same time, Myrtle Beach has been on fire lately. That's one thing that's great news for everyone overall to kind of look at and see. If you want to look at the overall year review, I'll kind of break it down really quick in the year in review. So like the rolling 12 months, sales are up 6.7%. So that's kind of the overall trend, right? You're seeing a sharper increase there at the end, but that's amazing there. So we'll kind of continue to see that number go up, in my opinion, overall. If you look at price up 5.3% at 229.9. I think that's very, very good because it's still healthy, right? Here, we're still in a healthy kind of, there's nothing crazy that's going to look like a huge, come down or crash or anything at all. If there was something to soften up a little bit, but great news there. Inventory continue to go down 1.9% over the last 12 months. Obviously, that increased significantly here the past few months. And so that's just something that's great news for us overall, looking at kind of what's going on and how fast things are selling. I think like that. Homes that did sell basically sold a lot of times 90 days on MLS, which is significantly less than where back in January 2016 it was up to 120, right? So you're seeing them selling faster. The ones that do sell, there's still a lot though that do not sell. All right, people don't obviously realize that we do a whole show on just that part. But a very, very large amount of homes don't sell. They sit there for 6 months, they expire, they go to another agent, sit with another 6 months until they find someone who can get the job done for them, right? So overall, great news. Into that new construction actually did pretty well too. If you look at the monthly numbers in regards to kind of how they finished up 2.9% last month alone, which is awesome. If y'all remember a few months back, there was a struggle a little bit. There was a decline in new construction sales, but up 2.9% last month, which is great news. Prices were a little flat. It was actually down 2.4% at 265.98, but it's gone up and down the past couple months where it's kind of hovering about the same thing overall. And so that's just kind of overall, like, for example, back in September it's 264. Right now it's 265. So that kind of shows you the difference overall, what's going on there. It has to do too with where they're being sold at. That's where you want to get into the micro market, because obviously we're building more inland now as everything fills up towards the beach, right? So that's just something we're doing there now as well, which is great news. Into overall looking at condos, that's something obviously that everyone kind of wants to know about too. Condos, amazing month last month, up 7.5% overall, which is good. So you see a trend here, all three areas all up. The biggest number this whole month is seeing a 22% increase in sales for single family homes, which is amazing. I mean, that's huge numbers right there. And if you're coming into this 1st of January, you probably see that kind of do very, very well as well, because there's a lot of buyers who kind of waited on the sidelines through Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's one thing that the most agents talk about in our office. Everyone you call and follow up with, they say, oh yeah, want to move, but want to move first of the year, right? And so at the same time, you see a lot more inventory come on the market first of the year too. And so there's a balance of both there, but very, very impressive to see that many more buyers actually close in December from this previous month, the same month. So into prices, flat pretty much on condos, down 0.9%, so at 137 versus 1.4 November. So it's still kind of saying that where it was. Obviously it goes up and down based on kind of what's selling, a few $1,000s here and there. And same thing with inventory, down to 4.6 months for condos, very, very, very low. The second biggest shocking number, I think, like I said, from a number standpoint, this month is inventory being at 4.2 months. If I have a huge graph here, it goes all the way back to 2016. Nothing even comes close to where it is right now, 4.2 months. Like I said, we had a few records before. If y'all remember, at 4.9 months, we were kind of hovering 4.9 to 4.8. The last record was at 4.8. Right now we're at 4.2. And again, that means if there was another, it's a hypothetical question, but it allows us to always gauge how many homes in the market. Remember, anything less than 6 months is a seller's market, meaning the seller has the advantage because there's less availability out there, right? Now, with that said, if there wasn't another home listed, it would take 4.2 months to sell through all that inventory, which allows us to see what's going on here. You may see that get to, a little bit of a stalemate when buyers get frustrated because there's nothing available. Right now is a huge opportunity as a home seller to take advantage of that. First of the year, people getting geared back up to make moves. One of the guys on my team, Barrett, an awesome agent, he told me today he had 16 buyers who are coming in town this month to buy something. 16 separate people or couples or whatever, they're coming from out of town to buy just this month. And so those are ones who've been putting off coming down here Thanksgiving and Christmas. Now they're coming down to make some moves. So make sure you think about selling, take advantage of that, right? Don't wait till a couple months in, February, people already come down here, potentially bought something in that lull between now and the spring market. So definitely want to reach out, want to know more about that. Give us a call, 843-808-SOLD. One thing driving this, obviously, interest rates still very, very, very good, amazingly good compared to where everyone thought they'd be. Right now, if you look at last show, it was 3.83% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Right now, 3.7%. So awesome news there. Went up and down this past week, but it's still super low. 15-year fixed rate, 3.38%. A 30-year FHA loan, 3.38%, which is awesome. A jumbo loan, 30-year fixed, 3.82%, and a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now, 3.42%. So amazing. I was looking back, doing some just research on just rates and kind of what's going on. If you look back, 2019 was the best year for mortgage rates. Opportunity, especially looking at Myrtle Beach. I think what's driving us too is the word's gotten out. A lot of people are coming down here. They're moving here. I just saw another article, like literally right before I came, about Myrtle Beach, one of the top 5 locations to add the most jobs in the past few years. And so there's amazing opportunity right now, and we'll talk about that as well. Next week, we'll dig into the micro markets. So you can kind of see what your zip code did, what your area did. But right now, things are on fire. Like I said, 22% increase in sales in December is almost like unheard of, where that's usually a fairly slow but decent month, right? You see some larger transactions, people that just kind of wanted to get moved in the year. But 22% increase for the last month of the year, and a lot of people are paralyzed through the holidays. It shows for a very good winter and spring market here based on people coming down to buy. So if you want to know more or know what your house is worth, definitely reach out and give me a call. 843-808-SOLD for sure.
All right, sounds good. Coming up in just a minute, we'll find out what's happening with the hot buyers alert. And as you said before, Blake, you got some awesome success stories. You want to highlight a few of those and some other great stuff to start off the new year as well. So that's all coming up in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Remember, if you want to get in touch with Blake, call him at Sloan Realty Group. That's his office. Phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaVox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts.
I really found time.
When I moved on won the award for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks who
I actually got about 10 minutes left.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. Thank you.
For many, that happens when it comes time to sell their home. If you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why in Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group markets your home on a whole different level. Now listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Sloan online at blakesloan.com, or you can call him at 843-808-SOLD. Start packing.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Coming up, we've got some great success stories to talk about of people who have, are dealing with Blake and are really happy that they are. Right now, though, it's time for your hot buyers alert, and these are incredibly hot. Blake and his team working with just a ridiculous amount of home buyers, and they're looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area, anywhere in the range from $150,000 to $3.5 million. I know it's a big range, but if you're in there and you're thinking of selling, contact Blake immediately at that same phone number, 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. As a matter of fact, on his current count of buyers who are out there looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area, well over 55,000 now. 55,416 was the latest count that I saw, Blake. And those are people who are, as you've told me before, that are not just logging on once and going away. These are people who are coming on, and not coming on just once a week, but maybe several times a day, because they want to be the first in line to get every new listing.
Oh, it's crazy how much traffic has jumped up since obviously the first of the year. Again, everyone who's kind of paralyzed, we call it through the holidays, is now on the site searching right now, literally live. And like Dave mentioned really quick, just kind of clarify, those are real separate username with username password accounts that are active, meaning they actually search. Like right now on the site this very second, Aaron Santarella from Mount Pleasant. We got John Robinson from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We got Janet O'Brien from Charlottesville, Virginia. I got Susan from Canton, Ohio. Robin from Raleigh, North Carolina. We got Annette from Fayetteville. Ken Dawson from Sylva, S-Y-L-V-A, North Carolina. Sylva, that's right? Yeah. So from all over, like right now, I got a record right here for today. We have Denise and Dustin Mitchell on here. They've been to the site 1,110 times, looked at 1,903 properties. Right now, 73 favorites, and they're a referral from a previous client that we had. And so, and that's between two people in there, one account. That one account just has two, husband and wife, obviously. But the reality is, we have real buyers. Like these are real people looking to buy. Why? Because we spend a lot of money up front marketing across the United States. to get buyers, right? To help serve them, obviously, from our business model. But what gives us a huge advantage is the business model we have. We have a team model, meaning that we have a team of buyer experts all day, every day. They're on the hunt. They serve. They help buyers. They show them houses. They sell them houses. They give them absolute A+ service. On the flip side, we help sellers, right? We're paid to match up buyer and seller. We market here locally, radio, TV. I spend a massive, massive, massive amount of money marketing online as well. Because why is that? Because guess where the first place anyone goes, right? Usually to Google. They search, right, looking for homes. So we spend massive amount of money on pay-per-click there. And so what we do is we have, like you said, 55,416 active buyers right now, and our job is to match them up. And so that gives you as a home seller a huge advantage because the buyers are already in waiting. They're already there. Not waiting to put a sign on the ground and start working. I'm working before you even call me, right? We do this all day, every day. And so it allows us, and that's why when we sit down with somebody, we show them why the properties we have sell faster and for more money than the average, because the system is already in place and you're able to ride that wake when you come in on that. And so if you want to know more about it, reach out. And we need actual listings. You should, the lowest it's ever been since it's been tracked from an inventory standpoint right now. Again, I was in the market in 2005, back when it was super, super hot. It was very similar. We didn't have the exact same tracking tools back then, so I'm not sure how low the inventory was. But this is the lowest I've seen it literally in I've been in business over 15 years now. And so the reality is it's definitely low. It's not quite as crazy back then, but it's one of the lowest since this thing's been tracked all the way back to 2016, 4.2 months. Reach out, call me. Don't wait till a month or 2 months when there's more inventory out there. Take advantage of that now. If you're thinking about making that move, reach out, at least get a strategy or get a plan in place that we can help you with. But the bottom line is we have the buyers, we have the technology, and we also built out technology. I mentioned it before in the show, but we reverse engineer the most likely buyer for your property based on the buyer's previous search history. So there's an algorithm we have. And anytime we get a new listing, we go right to the software and it scores those 55,000 plus buyers, highest to lowest, and the most likely buyer for your property is. Then obviously, what do? We reach out, call them. We get to work, right? We pull roll our sleeves up, get to work. We call it in our office, doing the work and hustling to help you sell the house, because obviously we don't get paid unless we get the house sold, right? And so if you want to know more about how it works and see it, it blows everyone's mind once they sit down and see it. Obviously, we don't share a lot of that publicly, but you have even a lot of other people who are in the business. A lot of clients you work with are referrals who are real estate agents somewhere else. Every single time they sit down, they say one thing: wow, I've never seen anything like this before. And so the reality is, because it's built that way to give you a true advantage, not just saying this to hype it up on the radio. I can back it up with visuals, with numbers, with watching real buyers in real time move around, do what they do. And so if you want to know more, or more importantly, if you know someone, a friend, a relative, a coworker that's been through a struggle, don't make them be another statistic and just their house not get sold or them leave money on the table. Have them call us, put my number in your phone and show it to them. Say, look, put this number in your phone, 843-808-SOLD, give Blake a call, because we're into that first part of the year. Everyone's moving. You can feel the energy, right? People are getting back to work after the holidays, and from sitting around being paralyzed, we're able to break that down for you. So reach out, give us a call as well. How much time we got? All right, so real quick, I want to get to a couple of success stories I'm super proud of for our team. Like I said, we went, and I told you all this last month, we were going to push all the way to the finish line, which we did. And so big shout out to Debbie. Here's a cool story. Debbie's a retired single female who moved down here about 1.5 years ago. She bought a house. After living here, ended up meeting the love of her life. They got engaged. Then she decided to sell her house because they both own houses. Debbie actually saw us on Shark Tank. She's a huge Barbara Corcoran fan. Gave us a call, and she knew it was a fix. We had sold multiple in her neighborhood before she ever called. Long story short, with that, we came in, picked a strategy for her. Her goal was to get maximum dollar, which is what we did, because it's always, you can either sell it faster or you can get more money for it, right? We try to find the sweet spot of doing both. And so with this one, we went straight to get highest dollar. Launched Gold Marketing Blitz, professional photos, drove massive traffic, put it under contract with the first showing, right, with the first buyer, all sold and done in 2 months, right? Very simple, maximum dollar. And that one, because we sold a bunch of properties in the neighborhood before, we always will usually have buyers who saw the other ones who just did not, make that move there. And that's a big advantage that we have in selling a lot of volume in that regard, which is awesome as well. Also, the other part too is I got one more in here. This one, lease and ship. They want to sell their home so they could obviously build a dream home. They get top dollar for the house, referred to us by an awesome radio listener. We came in, custom strategy, launched low marketing blitz, drove massive traffic, 14 showings in 2 days, had under contract 2 days on the market, right? So things are moving, right? Don't just, I can show you, story after story after story in that regard, but things are actually moving overall for sure. So that's something that we're super proud of as well. And so that's just something too we can talk about. We got about 4 or 5 minutes. So one thing you want to do is talk about really just maximizing ROI for you, the top renovations everyone's kind of doing for this year. We always start with small stuff. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you don't have to do anything to your house when we come in from a strategy standpoint. Usually maybe like pressure wash if they want. We'll help them kind of do a little bit of staging, things like that to make it look better. Just selling hundreds of them, really thousands over its front end. But that is something that helps. New wood flooring, right? They're looking at 106% ROI number overall, which is good for them in that aspect. Also, number three, HVAC replacement, because that's what a lot of times buyers worry about. But here's the thing: you don't have to necessarily do that. You can sell as is. We can do all kind of different stuff as long as it works. We're able to add in warranties, things like that, third-party warranties that help you as well. Another big one, vinyl siding, 63% ROI on the vinyl siding. But the thing is here, I've learned just doing this for a long time, you got to be careful, right? You got to be careful overall because sometimes, most of the time, you'll get dollar for dollar once you start making these big improvements. And that's something that we talk about. But we can always help you pick the one I think will get the most leverage. And there's two different strategies. We have what we call kind of as is, here it is now. We also can do full market retail, meaning that we'll basically touch up a few things. Mostly what we recommend is like pressure washing here and there, little touch up paint. Sometimes it's the door, sometimes it could be the mailbox, sometimes it could be anything. Carpet cleaning. Those are kind of what we live with. They're much easier in that aspect as well. And so that's something that's very important for anyone out there as well. What we got left?
A little bit more in a minute.
Okay. One thing too, just really quick to share out. I got these two articles I'm going to save for next week just because I want to have plenty of time for them.
Okay.
Our team's still looking to grow, right? As I mentioned, we have massive amount of buyers, over 55,000 active buyers. Anyone out there looking to grow your career that want to know more, we're out here, pushing hard. My biggest challenge in our area is to find people that want to run at the speed that we run at. As you can tell from, if you listen for a while, obviously I'm a pretty intense dude. Even Dave said when I came in, man, you look pretty focused today, right? I'm like a laser in this. So I'm just one of those things that if you want to level up your life, your career, we have amazing culture. Reach out and learn more. Second of all, too, also just want to remind everyone, I have an investment fund out there. We buy properties without even putting in the market. I still have some other capital in there as well. And the reality, if you want to just sell it straight out, or you don't want to mess with the hassle of putting them, have the ability to do that for you too. It's an instant buyout, very fair pricing. We're able to do for myself or somebody's third party. I bought. I'm closing on one more the 10th of this month. We put one under contract yesterday. So the reality is there's two options: a separate business, but we have a huge fund. Been working on this for years for more convenience. For reach out for sure. 843-808 sold.
All right, that's the number. That's the magic number. 843-808 sold. It'll get you to the Sloan Realty Group and get all that stuff under one belt. So give them a call here today if you want to find out more about anything that you've heard about today. You can also go online, obviously, to BlakeSloan.com. BlakeSloan.com. Blake, great show. We'll do it again.
Absolutely, I'll be here.
Sounds good. Next week.